Yeah, so if Rocky breaks in, that's why, because I actually left my door open today. Like everybody's sleeping, I'm the only person awake. It's 10 a.m. here, so I'm just like, I'll do that. Hi,
I love
Mandee. How are you today?
I'm good. I'm excited. Crystal's talking about our dogs. My dog Iris just came in and joined us for the show. So I went and closed the door and I'm excited to hold some space. Crystal and I were just talking before, so we might as well start with your public service announcement and like tell them what's going on right now.
Oh, well, I don't know if it's not a new public service announcement, Mandee. This happens every month. And eventually like things get Hi Sophia. Oh, yes, also to you two, like cuz you're usually the first couple on. Mandee has dubbed us the lunch ladies because we meet with you at lunch. So,
I feel like
we
we
are
should be the
now
lunch ladies.
so we are now the lunch ladies. Hi TJ. I my problem was I sent it to the goddesses last night, and I was like, so I have this annoyance that keeps happening, and I want to know if it's a me thing, like what is the energy I'm putting out here, or if it's like a you guys thing. Um, been hacked again, or not hacked necessarily. I have somebody that keeps taking my whole entire profile, like downloading it and creating a whole new account on Instagram, and it keeps happening over and over and over. And everybody keeps asking me if it's me, and I'm like, how obvious do I have to make this? Like, I literally have a profile picture that says, do not accept messages. I don't take payments. I don't set up my appointments like that. And people keep getting scammed. And so my question was, is this a me thing, or is it a people need to stop being scammed thing? And Mandee and I kind of came to the realization, I think I already had this beforehand, but I do thank Mandee greatly, that it's not. It's more of a people need to pay attention, and they need to kind of reach out, and they need to communicate and understand a little bit more. And so if you have messages, go to my website. I that's the only way that I make appointments is through my actual website. And so if some rando person is contacting you in Messenger, say, hey, I want to FaceTime you right now before I pay any money because I want to make sure it's Crystal. So I need to FaceTime you right now. And I'm going to ask you questions that only Crystal would know. Guarantee they'll block you. Um, Other than that, go to my website. I never ever contact you saying, hey, I can't remember. It's the weirdest. It's like, hey, beans of light. I don't talk like that. You people, I'm literally wearing a shirt that says 6 feet of dirt would look good on you. Does that sound like me? No, I'm a sarcastic person. So just know that I'm not the one sending you the messages. If you think I am, then, mess with me a little bit. I'll enjoy it. I'll play back if it's really me. But I guarantee it's not. So don't get scammed. Don't give your money. It's not me. I promise.
And it happens all the time. You guys see it on Instagram now, you see it on Facebook. Like, have some awareness. And if you really want a session with Crystal or I, or another amazing teacher who's getting scammed, like, go to their website, see what their process is. Like, take the extra effort and step. That was the other part we talked about with this. Let's say some hello and read some comments, and then we'll talk about the next lesson we learned with that.
So we already said hello to Jennifer, Sophia, and TJ. And then Sophia said, I wanted to write you about what Mandee said about ravens to you last live. I have the same previous job in a past life. That is super awesome. Sorry, I'm not trying to read like a crazy person. My phone has glare on it. I do apologize.
Great.
We have Kevin. Hello. Jennifer, that's amazing. And I do believe that was in response to you and your lunch lady thing, because you called us the lunch ladies. Sophia, so many scammers in the spiritual community pretending to be legit people. Like, the only thing that frustrates me about that, and actually, this isn't actually something that frustrates me about scammers. It frustrates me about people who want to be mediums, psychics, tarot card readers, whatever, but they don't do any work. They just wake up one day and they're like, oh, this looks cool. That I've seen ghosts before, so
This is
now I
gonna
want to be
be
a medium.
this will be my new
And that
career today.
right? And that's really disgusting to me because these are the people who do absolutely no work. And I mean, maybe I'm being a little narcissistic here when I say, look, bitch, I have done some serious work over the past 13, 14 years. I don't know if other spiritualists have. I know Mandee has. I know the people that I've talked to have, but I mean, I can't talk about the whole world. And yes, some people can wake up and have perfect lives where they don't really have to learn these things, but 99.99% of us who have to do the spiritual journey have some sort of journey to go on to get there, because you have to go through the shit to get to the good spaces, because it's all of this that you're going to be teaching. If you never do the work, then you're not going to be able to be utilized, and all you're going to channel from is here, which is why all y'all think you know everybody's business around you. You don't. You're seeing through the lenses of your own trauma because you're not doing the work. So stop it. Stop playing off from people. Stop telling everybody they got demons and attachments. You do. If you're seeing that in other people, that's a reflection. So it's just so frustrating right now with all of this stuff coming up and people being like, oh, creepy this, creepy that. You're focusing on the wrong things, which is why all you're seeing is crap. So I'm sorry. Sorry,
Ooh,
Mandee.
we'll talk more about that. I'm taking notes.
Soapbox. Sorry. All right.
Okay. Let it out. Breathe and fire.
Jennifer, how are you? I feel like this is for Mandee. I think you guys know how I am today based off from what I just said. Mandee, how are you?
I'm good. I also think Jennifer was maybe asking Sophia too how she was. And and also, yes, Jennifer is a great friend. So she is someone to totally reach out to. And she has an awesome little group that she runs for private healing called the Jane Doe Project. And it's really awesome. And I'm obsessed with this next comment. Go for it, Crystal.
Ursula, hey, loves, sparkly hair nuts required for next week. Oh my God, bitch. Instagram sucks. I know, right? I'm going to have to make some with sequins. Instagram sucks anymore. The fraud is rampant. It's not like it used to be. Met on my butt. I love Ursula. Ursula's also a sea goddess. She is also a part of the Big Hole clan. She does aromatherapy, and I can't remember what the other one is called. Is it astrology? Like, I didn't know if it was astrology or something. Sorry, Ursula. I'm so bad at this.
She's our astrologist and our aromatherapist, and the goo at Sea Goddess, which is our goddess of operations, because she keeps all of our shit together, and she's so incredibly organized. And she was a badass and worked for many places, with the government in particular, being a geospatial scientist and designing maps and stuff. So now she's like actually creating star maps, and it's really cool, all the things that Ursula does. So we're always just so grateful for her.
I kind of want to say something on that too. She is a perfect example of somebody being incredibly analytical, like incredibly mentally intelligent, which usually does not go hand in hand with like the super empathic. There's usually like a weird cutoff between those two, and it's very hard to get adjusting and balance. And look at how awesome she is finding something that she understands and loves and utilizing that to fit her very smart, intelligent, analytical brain. I think she is such a like badass for what it means to find something to kind of connect and make it make sense to you. And she went the scientific route. And I just think that's like super, I don't know. That's so cool to me. It just blows my mind that she did that.
I agree. We're grateful for her. And yes, if you are interested in astrology, she comes highly recommended and can help you see the map of your soul.
Michelle, hello. Jennifer, work. LOL. I should have said that in my like dance, but at the same time. Jennifer, I was. Ha ha ha. See, Mandee knows better than Crystal. Sophia, yes, Crystal, thanks for saying that projection thing. Y'all know about me being told about my darkness. It's laughable now. Thanks, Mandee. Earth is amazing, man. So, comments read.
Awesome. So I have a couple notes. Lesson 2 of, brief synopsis if you're just jumping on, a little summary. Basically, Crystal, somebody's impersonating Crystal again. She's getting scammed or reaching out to some of her clients or different people saying like, hey, book with me. And it's not really her. And this happens a lot to people who are in, this can happen to anybody, but it definitely happens to a lot of teachers and people or influencers out there or whatever it is. And so we're going to talk about lesson number 1 of this was like batten down the hatches, make sure like Crystal, like she announced it to everyone. She's like, this is how you get a hold of me. Like there is a scam, like come to my website. This is how we'll do it. You won't even pay anything until after our session. If you're paying before, like here's your sign. And then lesson number 2, Lexi's here. Hey, Lex. She loves your shirt, Midge. And so lesson
Thank
number
you.
2 is this actually your lesson or the people who are involved with it? If everything's always happening for the highest good, then, you know, we can only be so responsible. And so many of us, like Crystal was really taking it on and like being like, what can I do about this? And then she learned that it's like time to start letting that go. So tell us a little bit more about lesson number 2, how it could be your lesson.
I can't even remember now, Mandee. We are like 15 minutes down the road. Crystal can't remember anything.
Yes, you
So
can.
I think when it came
You
to
have a
my
lot to
lesson,
say
if
about that.
I was like, if it's my lesson, then I feel like it's more so the fact that I need to kind of just, take responsibility and let people know and understand. But at the same time, I really just have to be like, whatever, it is what it is. I've done my job. I've done my due diligence. I really can't do any more. I've taken responsibility, let my clients know or let people know around me, and then kind of went off that way.
Then you have to
Kind of
release the attachment to it.
absolutely not my
Trust.
problem no more.
Right.
I really just feel like I love you, but I can't take responsibility for your happiness in your life. I hope you get your money back. I hope you do, and I really feel for you. But I'm made it pretty clear. Everything you need is on my website. Every bit.
Speaking of scammers.
Thank you.
Okay.
Block first and then delete.
So here, live lesson in it. And also, like, we need to have discernment in this day and age. And this is part of, like, is this your lesson? Because are you supposed to be learning? Like, you know what? I am a little, like, desperate right now. This person sent me a message and I jumped right on and, like, I'm vulnerable. So, like, where's my responsibility in this? And how can I start learning my own personal boundaries, my own discernment, getting a little wise, a little more empowered? Like, it's time to take responsibility in the best ways that we can for all the situations that are happening. And like, yeah, you might be a victim of it. It might have happened to you, but it also is an opportunity to happen for you to learn, for you to like grow your street smarts a little bit, for you to expand your boundaries a little bit more. And trust is the third lesson that we're going to get to here in a minute. Lexi said she loves your shirt. Ursula said, aw. And Lexi also said, hi, beautiful ladies. Lexi is our amazing mermaid in the mountains. Crystal cleaned up shop and blocked our troll at this time. So now we get to talk about trust a little bit. Lesson number 3.
Are you going to start this one, or do you want me to start this one?
If you're ready, I want you to.
Well, we were talking prior to this. We were talking about the whole scammer thing and all that other stuff, and then it led into I watch a TV show called Evil. It's on Paramount, and I absolutely love this show. It is so good. And I was telling Ben last night, I was like, oh my gosh, I could do a whole entire video on this. More so, and it's weird because there's a reason why. I don't know how to put it together, I guess, because there's so much I could talk about. And I'm like, but there are so many people tagging me, sending me personal messages, and also like you see it on TV and paranormal people or whatever, that they're so shook by negative energies. That's their whole thought pattern and focus, and they're so scared of these things. And I'm like, first off, you're giving things way too much energy. And then you have other people who, they have these in the TV show specifically. There's this preacher that's like he's now finally ordained and he's a part of the church, the Catholic Church, but he still has no faith. And he's looking for all these external things to give him what the faith in God should be inside of him. And it's like trying to teach people to stop looking outward and seeing everything outside of yourself and instead of seeing it inside. And I even have like my own actual stories of this, which is why I don't fear negative energies. I don't fear negative energies because first off, either they're manifested by somebody else's fears and they don't exist anyway. There is no place that they came from because they don't really exist. Somebody else created them, which does seem real. It doesn't mean that I think you're making it up. It is a real experience because it's still manifested. But then you do have, your demons, which are run of the mill, which don't generally see, by the way. They're not walking around like everybody thinks they are. You have parasites. You have all sorts of different levels and layers up. You have elementals. You have interdimensional. You have all sorts of different things. Primal. You have all these layers to what that spirit could be. And you're putting so much focus onto what it could do to you instead of not allowing it to by getting it into your thoughts, which is the first form of how negative energies come in. And so we were talking about that trust because that is the most important thing. That's like spiritualism 101. You can't fear the negative because you are the positive.
Oh.
So what is the problem? Instead of fearing it, look at it and say, okay, what are you teaching me right now in this moment about who I am, about my confidence levels, about my standard and faith? What are you teaching me? And thank it, because when you meet real negative energies with positivity, it's almost like it fizzles that persona and it has nothing to use against you. So instead of feeding it with the ugliness and the fear and the, I'm going to go in and knock down doors and scream things out and, be a big old ego man, there's no reason for that. It's literally the stupidest thing to do, because if you're scared, then you need to face it and stand in front of it and have a conversation. And then you'll find out what it's there for, where it came from, what its intentions are, and what it's teaching you. And there's no fear in that.
And how do we banish the darkness? By shining
with light.
And what are you doing?
With light.
You're shining the light on what you're afraid of.
It's
the best way I learned how to do that was with Archangel Michael. I had a lot of trauma and drama and PTSD and different things. And I'd be leaving work late at night as a bartender, and I'd be afraid to walk outside and like walk to my car because I'd always be afraid of getting attacked. And I'd like have anxiety, and I'd like look all around me, and I'd run to my car, and I'd make sure there was like no one hiding in the back seat, and like I'd get in my car and I'd lock it real fast. And like I had a fucking mini panic attack every single time I got in my car. And finally, I started doing this work. Light is the New Black came into my life because of my beautiful soul sister, Annie Clymer, at the time. And I started learning more about things that could possibly help me. And I got exposed to Kyle Gray, who created, he's an amazing angel teacher, and he has awesome decks that we use all the time here. If you don't follow him yet, we encourage you to follow him too. We're always adding in all of our favorite teachers and resources. So I would take some deep breaths and I'd ask Archangel Michael, please surround me in white and blue light and protect me. And for like a month or so, I would just like trust it. It was my first time building trust. And I'd be like, okay, you know what? Like, I can't feel it. I don't understand it, but it's just going to be there. And like the first week was scary. And then the second week got a little easier. Then the third week I got really tested because I heard like this rattling in the corner. And I was like, oh my God, this is it. Like somebody's going to come get me. It was like this really sad old little like homeless lady. When I finally took a breath and I turned and took a look, and I'm like, wow, Mandee, like that's what you were scared of? Like, whoa. And so what happened was I slowly got this feeling. I'd start seeing little blue orbs around me sometimes at night. I'd see cool signs like shooting stars or like an owl on a full moon, or like just really neat things that felt like such a like reward for me learning how to trust. And it's in these small moments of continuing to show up for ourselves first and foremost that we can let go and trust God and trust the universe and all of that too. And so it takes true work and diligence and showing up for it. And there's endless ways to do that. But trust is a journey, and it's something that's built, and it leads to true faith. And faith is when you already have trust and it's built in and you know what's up.
I love all of that. I'm reading comments. I'm reading comments. Jennifer says, Evil is such a good show. I was waiting forever for season 2. It's a combo of religion, spirituality, and witchy. Everything. If you pay attention to the plot, they have so much in there. I almost feel like the writers are actually like very spiritual themselves and or follow the spiritual realm, because there's all these different things happening in it, and it's just really good. There are some far-fetched, absolutely. It's a TV show, but still, at the end of the day, it's really, really good. Hey, Heather, I don't see... Oh, there's Heather. Hi, Heather. I was like, I don't even see Heather. Hi, Heather. So happy for you to be here with us. Sophia, fear is a huge blocker to spirit. I feel like it clouds your judgment and energy reads. It does. Even with me, like when I'm going through crap, I can't read people in that state of being because I can't meet them in their vibrational field. And I'm like, I can't channel for you. Okay. Like I will tell you, like, not in a good place, because if I don't, then I'm going to have to come from here. And I don't want to. That's literally why I choose not to do like certain types of reads, because I don't want the information coming from crystal. It's not going to help you. So you are 1000% right. I mean, it can be a multitude of things, but usually I know if it's me because it'll feel like I have like this vice over my third eye. Like, nope. A lot of people want love and light only and block everything else out because high vibes only. Yeah, that's not cool either. My guides call those ultra spiritual people. They actually do kung fu motions. They go ultra spiritual people. I love them. Ascension is used as an excuse why people can't deal with their fear.
It certainly
I,
can be. People can
I
use
was
that
like, yeah.
and stay in there. But the thing is, like Rebecca Campbell, again, one of my favorite teachers, has like a quote by her that she wrote is like, you have to embody all of it, the agony and the ecstasy. And like, if you don't, you're bypassing. Like, there's no yin and yang, there's no shadow. And like, that's how you grow. It's like this constant going up a spiral staircase and getting to a landing and like being there for a little bit and dropping those lessons that you don't have to go through again. But if you do, you got to go back down those stairs and come back up it. Or like a circle that's like, it's like climbing, but you have to go back as it climbs and circle back sometimes to go deeper and reestablish your roots and nourish yourself. So it's really interesting how it all happens, but you cannot have true embodiment and ascension without that darkness. It just,
And
you
it's,
just can't. Think of it like we're into the movies right now. Think of Paramount, like, you know, you can't have a good movie without all the feels. Like, that's what it's like every single lifetime for you. No matter how woke you get, no matter how ascended you get, you still have to deal with the agony and the ecstasy. Like Rebecca said, like, you could be a bazillionaire and married to your dream person and having, you know, the best life ever, but the person, your best friend, still might choose to transition at that time. You still might come up with an illness. There might be a fire. There's still things we can't control. And it's all about how we respond no matter what is going on. And then we have lessons for our personal growth within all of our responses and our reactions to life.
I did want to go back to what you said, the story about like that feeling and then surrounding yourself and letting yourself be light. Because, like, one of the things, and I'm sure, well, I don't know if you hear this. I don't know. I do hear this a lot, though. People get a little frustrated when you talk like that because, especially if somebody has PTSD, and I'm going to raise my hand because I've been diagnosed. You will, just like Mandee said, this is why I wanted to come back to that. Just like Mandee said, if you have depression, anxiety disorder, PTSD, neurologically, whatever, you're more heightened in some form or fashion. No matter what diagnosis you have, you can still practice a pause. You can still, that's literally what helps you get through those moments and what helps you get through those things. Over the past, 6 months, 7 months, I was really on an up and down roller coaster with some of the things that were triggering and re-triggering the PTSD that I had in my past. But that's literally what it is. It's meeting yourself every single day going, but right now in this moment, yes, there's a lot of things that could happen, but they haven't. Okay. Like, these things are not reality, and I'm creating my dream. Like, I'm dreaming. I'm lucid dreaming right now in my life. This is me lucid dreaming. I'm creating what I want in my daily life right now in this moment. And I'm breathing. I'm warm. I'm safe. I'm secure. I'm on this wonderful life with all of you guys. And that's how you take your power back in those moments. And will it resurface? Yes, it probably fucking will, because that is the kickster of what that trauma is. But each time, it's almost like Mandee said with the steps. Each time you're going to level up, and you're going to level up, and you're going to level up again. And it's going to be less time or less space in between what that trauma would have been or how deep you would have gotten yourself down into that hole. And that's why what she said was like so beautiful and spot on and perfect for like real life situations, especially for people who don't think that they can, because it is difficult. We're not saying it's not difficult. To the contrary, I think that that's why a lot of people want to bypass and not do the hard work, because it is difficult.
Yeah, or it brings up wounding or traumas or things that they didn't know were even there, they don't want to deal with yet. And we all do it in our own divine time. And it's your higher self and your angels and your team that knocks on your door and gives you the signs and the signals and the things. And that's where we get to trust more that, like, hey, if it happened for me, it's going to happen for someone else. And it's not my job to micromanage their journey. Their journey is their journey. And all I can do is truly stay true to myself, lead by example, just do what I truly do. And that's it. And that is it. And then release those attachments and those expectations of what you want the other players in your own movie to be doing.
Absolutely. Practice the pause, my favorite homework. So I'm going to tell you, Miss Mermaid in the Mountains, I struggle with that so much in my life. And it's because that anxiety sense in myself is like so high most of the time, which I also like contribute to spirit, by the way. Everybody has their words for things. I think it's spirit. I'm either in the sense of like downloading something, and I've been doing a lot of resisting in my life to growth lately. Why? Because vibrating higher for me feels off. I'm used to vibrating here. And so when they're trying to pick me up a little bit and make me like, hey, we're going to grow you right now. We're going to get you out of this mentality. Yeah, you've changed. Remember, we're not hanging on to this anymore. That feels like anxious energy to me, because the higher you vibrate, it is going to feel different. It is going to be a different experience. You're going to have to let certain things go, and you're going to have to invite other things in that feel very different. I have struggled with that so much over the past year. And so finally, I had to actually have a huge talk with that, like, different version of Crystal that still is inside hanging on to, because we still have to fight situations or be grumpy with situations or know somebody's mistreating you or they have this negative intention, or I'm like, bro, calm down. No, they don't. Like, life's cool. We're good. Um,
Don't
so
worry, I'm
funny.
burning lots of sage for us as we're talking about all this attachment releasing and holding the space for each other.
I was like, I have my candle and my sage and stuff right now going behind me. So, but yeah, it's goofy when you start to look at that and see, even if it's just kind of allowing yourself to break the chains of things that have been past versions of yourself, because it had to exist. I did have to fight. I did have to stand up for myself. I did have to do all of these things at one point, but I don't now. Like, I do not have to do that now. I've learned how to cope better, communicate better, be better, love better, just in every aspect of life. And so to hold on to these things instead of allowing myself to succeed is kind of why I'm in this dope state of like, I don't got to do nothing. Like, every day is Saturday right now. So, but they're giving that to me for a reason. And I think people get so anxious with those things. We have to kind of address what the anxiety is teaching us.
Absolutely.
You're not used to not being in survival mode. Absolutely, Jennifer. This has been such a year for my growth. It has been amazing. It's super funny though. And also I am going to like remind you guys, yes, Mandee pulls cards. So if you guys have any questions, you can roll those in.
And if you're cool with it, I want to pull for you first. Let me know if you have anything specific or if you're open to receiving a card.
And then it says, that might be the weirdness. LOL. I'm learning to navigate it too. Yes. Hello, Monica. I hope you're having a good day, hon. Sophia, I can feel the weirdness and letting certain tools I've had to get to survive go as well. Ah, yes, that makes so much sense. Oh, see, I'm happy.
I talk about this all the time. Adjusting to peace is the hardest part of the process. And it's
like, that's
yep.
Like, literally what it is. It's like, okay, so all this stuff that I've worked on to manifest, and now all of a sudden I'm like, what's going on? Everything's crazy. So I'm happy you guys are giving me validation that I'm not the only one experiencing this. Thank you. And then we have Miss Mermaid in the Mountains. Mandee had given my husband and I that for homework. It's been maybe 6 months of the being a major topic. And what you're saying about the different feelings that come with the frequency is, I think, elevation. Yes, open, please. She is open to you giving her a reading.
Awesome. And then I see 7 Ocean Skies 112. Can you just tell us your name and if you have a question? No problem. And I'm going to start with Lexi. I just happen to know her name already. For Lexi. All right. I pulled from the Rebecca Campbell Starseed Oracle, one of our favorite decks around here. Amazing. Lexi, you've got 3 cards. First one is Lifting the Veil. Questioning everything, which Crystal and I just talked about. Anything unaligned must go. You are really like purging and releasing because you are tuning your light and you are finally getting settled and you are actually going to be adjusting to peace. It's been a little crazy and a little wacky and a little wild, but really you're pulling open those curtains and you're able to see so much. And not only with that, like your spiritual gifts, like, wow, they are coming in. You are able to see. You are like, what is going on? Of course, you're exhausted and drained at this time, and we have to address that part. But you have all this magic happening for you too, which here we go. Cracked open, rock bottom, surrender to the alchemy of life. Girl, it's about getting broken open and over again so that we can expand our heart chakras, so that we can grow in our consciousness, so that we can hold space for ourselves and the earth and for others. And there's a reason you're being cracked open right now. And they're just showing your heart chakra expanding. And like we talked about in the beginning, there's agony and ecstasy. And it's important to embrace that as much as possible right now and allow your hurt to be holy, if you will, and see what there is to offer, and maybe let yourself take the pressure off and go within and do some journaling and some self-care and spend some time like alone in your garden if you can, or by the river or whatever it is, which is a perfect segue into this last card for you, which is jump in, Andromedan energy, adventure, say yes to change. And this is a really cool card. It's literally diving. This is how I see us like diving in when we like incarnate through the birth canal fully, like diving in. And this is really cool because it shows like the galaxy and the eyeball, and it's like, you know, a womb space. It's just great. But you are meant to literally stay present and feel all the feelings and see what comes of it and surrender to that and let yourself be held and led and have that faith and trust and keep showing up to find your balance and be the best you that you can be right now. And, you know, like literally parent yourself, parent your kids, have strict boundaries. Self-care is the most important thing for everybody right now, and whatever that looks like, and jump on in and do it and trust. And I love you, and I'm glad you're here with us today.
She gave lots of, she says, my tower moment, everything had to fall apart to come together for my wands, my 4 wands. Sorry, I can't read, I swear. Lord have mercy. And that's where I am right now in the rain. So, and Chris, and can I get a general message?
Yeah, definitely. All right, for Chris. I'm feeling drawn to pull from our Angels and Ancestors deck. This is Kyle Gray, who we were talking about earlier. He had all of that Archangel Michael energy that he introduced me to. For Chris, what does he need to know most at this time? Ooh. You got 3 cards as well. The first one is Stargazer. Set your sights higher. It's a time for your soul right now to zoom out. Many teachers around the world say that if you go outside and you stare at a starry night and you kind of meditate and you look past the stars, you'll find your soul. And it's a time for you. They're showing there's like this like kind of stirring in your solar plexus energy with like confidence and things about like what to do, particularly with career and personal choices and things like that. And you're ready to like expand and to harness this energy that's kind of rumbling in you at this time. And you've had it before, and there's been times you've ignored it. And it's really important that you tune into it. They're also showing to be patient, because then you get the seer to see beyond current situations. So be patient and intuitive and zoom out a little bit and say, okay, why is this happening? What's going on? And can I see beyond these current circumstances, this situation, and zoom out a little bit? And that's also going to inspire you to like set your sights higher with that Stargazer one too. So there is a lot that goes into that. Last but not least, you're bringing home all the energy we were just talking about, because you get Broken Arrow. Embrace the energy of peace. You are meant to thrive at this time. Though there's pieces you're still putting together, you get to embrace peace for the first time in a really long time within your mind, your body, your soul, physically, in a lot of different ways. It's important to follow and make the harder decisions that require you to do in order to embrace that peace. Sometimes there are some sacrifices, like not going out every night type of thing, or putting our phone down an hour before we go to bed. Sometimes just little things like that. Sometimes it's leaving a relationship. Sometimes it's big stuff, but they want you to know that it's time for you to kind of put your wise soul on, step into your soul, and allow your soul to lead and pull you in the directions that it's calling. And while that's happening, allow your higher self to hold you to your highest standard, because you deserve it at this time and good things are coming. And they also want you to know, take everything with a grain of salt and just wait and make your decisions when it feels right, because your heart will literally pull you forward. And then if you have some creative energies or some ideas, even some business ideas or art or something, go for it, because it's really being fostered right now. And there's a lot of beautiful energy and gold around it. Hope that helps.
So Sophia said that you can like skip her and come back to her, but we're just going to say, Sophia, honey, you don't have to wait for other people. It's okay. So she says, after other people who haven't had a reading, I love a card pulled, emotionally preparing for future trip to see family in September, and I'm nervous for a blow up.
Okay. Well, you are next in line, and you are going next, our sweet Sophia.
I know. I'm not giving you a reading, I promise. I'm just wrapping you and your people in love, because it just seems like they're.
Are you freezing? Am I freezing? Someone's freezing. If you guys are with me, drop a comment and I'll get started on Sophia's reading. Oh, the midge might be back. Are you back?
I am.
Yay! I was like, are you frozen? Am I frozen? I don't really know, but something's happening on the ethers. Okay. So we're going to pull a card for Sophia, because she is next in line, and you are so sweet and so gracious, but you also deserve a message, and you show up for us all the time, and we reward that. So thank you. We appreciate you being there and being supporters of us. Okay. So she's pulling, emotionally preparing for a future trip to see family in September and nervous for a blow up. Okay. I'm pulling from the Rebecca Campbell Work Your Light deck. This one's a little different than the other one. Work Your Light. Oh, juicy. Okay. Well, you got the light and the dark. Here we go. First one is Akasha. Your guidance is divinely guided. It's literally talking about showing kind of that staircase energy we were talking about before. And the Akashic records are where your soul records are kept. It's like this beautiful place where it's like your book, your life of like your book with all of your lifetimes in it and all of your chapters and all of your soul's memories. And it's the place that you can draw upon in your own consciousness. And you also have a guide and a keeper there helping you. And really, I consider like an angel on your side through all of this. And so it's so important to tune in to what your intuition is telling you, to the portal of your heart, to listen to the earth spirits and the things that are around you that are guiding you in the directions you need to go. And for you, your sign is it's going to feel good and it's going to feel like peace if it's meant for you. Every now and then you'll get a little rumbling about and a little fear when it comes to truth speaking, because you're still clearing out some throat chakra stuff, which they're showing in your Akashic records and has been there for a very long time. And you're really clearing it out now. And you can still be like, I really like Brene Brown for like talking about boundaries and stuff, especially when it comes to like family members or people you don't really want to be friends with anymore, or stuff you're outgrowing, or if you go on a date and you don't want to anymore. It's like she really encourages you to be brave through those moments when you feel your heart starting to beat a little fast and the lump in your throat and you're like not sure if it's okay to speak your truth. And Rebecca Campbell teaches us it's never been a safer lifetime for us to like speak our truth, which is so true, because we mostly got like hung and beheaded and all these things. Like we really like, we're working on some things still, but we also got it made in a lot of ways. I'm just like, I'm like laughing thinking about all that. So anyway, so it's so important to foster this energy with your throat chakra. And all you've got to do, like Brene Brown says, like end of the date. Oh, you want to go out again? No. I'm sorry. You don't even have to apologize. You can just say, no, it wasn't for me. Wishing you the best. And then she goes, awkward moment. and then you're set free. Then it's done. And instead, if you don't cut your own energy cords with that, you're going to be wondering, oh my God, how do I jump Phil? Like, he keeps calling me, or I don't really want to be friends with, like, you know, this person anymore because she's like, oh, really annoying me. Or how do I, you know, release this job or whatever it is? Or how do I set my own boundaries? And a big energy we like to embrace at Sea Goddess. Leslie Lyon, one of our favorite coaches and creatresses, she talks about, and a lot of other people talk about this, but this is like a big thing. It's getting fiery now. Like, if it's not a fuck yes, then it's a no. Like, if it's a maybe, it's a no. If it's a soft no, it's a no. Like, if it doesn't feel like yes, then that is how you can trust that it's not for you. And as, like, especially as an individual, when you really tune in and you start making decisions based on what your heart wants most and not what anyone else thinks or might think, everything starts to really line up and it gets really juicy and really powerful. And you contribute to the higher good because, like, yeah, you might be creating some hurt in someone else by not wanting to be friends with them or date them, but you might be steering them to the perfect person for them. And it might hurt them in the moment, but wouldn't you rather be, like, you know, play the part in the story that helps that along, you know, and then you're rewarded in the same way. And this is where we've got to, like, tune into ourselves a little bit. So then, last but not least, for Sophia, you've got two things here. Starseed, what lights you up, and the initiation, rite of passage, you're going somewhere sacred. It's so important right now when you're, and this is for everyone too, when you want to protect your energy, when you want to tune up for that family visit. Ram Dass says, you think you're healed, you think you're woke, go home and spend a week with your family. And if you don't get triggered and all that shit, then you're pretty ascended, because those are the people that we really incarnate with to teach us the lessons. And the way that you can protect your light is following things that light you up, that feed your soul, that nourish you. You know, I have the privilege to have talked to you about a few of those things. So I know nature is one of them, among many, many other things. And then last but not least, you need to face this battle. You need to do this. You need to enjoy it. And they're showing, like, yeah, you know what? Like, it's causes some anxiety, but there is light at the end of this tunnel, and I'm going to be safe, and I'm going to be okay. I'm going to practice all my tools, and I'm going to have safe boundaries, and I can say no, or I can leave, or I can do whatever I have to do. So take your power back in that situation too. That doesn't mean you go in there being a bitch and you're like I am this, whatever. It just means that if something doesn't feel in alignment, you speak it. No, yes, you don't have to be overly kind. So that's about it. I hope that helps and supports you, Sophia.
She said, oh, great, dark. My trigger word.
Darkness.
I love her.
Look at
so
the
much.
Beautiful scene at the end of
like,
the cave.
It's so super pretty, though. So, okay, we have Michelle, who is next. She says, hi, ladies. I would love a card. I have a lot of left-sided issues.
Well, first of all.
Ooh, well. I'm going to say,
first of all,
left side. I
anytime,
think left side is masculine.
I was going to say, anytime we have a chance, where did my Louise go? Louise, oh, she's right here in front of me. Anytime we have a chance to look at pieces of the body, we usually look it up in Louise Hay, You Can Heal Your Life, because this book, there's several different covers to it. Crystal's got one. This was what mine looks like.
I was like, I'm wrong. It's feminine. That's what mine looks like. Oops, sorry, wrong way.
Perfect.
It's
go ahead.
Represents receptibility, taking in feminine energy, women, the mother. My feminine energy is beautifully balanced. That is the affirmation to heal it. I'm one of those weirdos. I bought this book and I've highlighted like every single thing that I've ever had an issue with in my life. This is actually one of them. Because I have such a hard time opening up to my feminine side. I'm a very masculine woman. Everybody who knows me, obviously, attitude. But I work on trying to open that up a little bit because it does create a lot of conflicts, not only in other people, but also in myself specifically. So yeah, when you said left body.
Me too. I blew out my left ankle 3 times in 7th grade alone. I've had a reconstruction on it. I hurt my left hip. I've broken my back 3 times, and a lot of that has been towards my left side, or if I have herniations or things like that. You're back. You're only gone for a flash, and we're holding it down. I'm talking about the left side still, and I said same for me. You know, I blew out my ankle a bunch. I had left ankle reconstruction, and it's because I was micromanaging my life so much. And this might sound a little familiar. You might have a lot on your plate, Michelle. We're going to pull you a couple cards here in a second. But like when we're over mothering, when we're micromanaging things, when we are controlling, trying to control stuff, like this happens a lot for kids who are like adult children of alcoholics and people who are doing it out of a good place in their heart, but like feel like they have to be there to take care of like other people around them. And this can happen to anybody, depending on the type of, like, many kids grow up with like a fear of dogs just because like they have a caretaker, a mom or a dad who they walk with every day and who's terrified of dogs. So they cut across the street, they avoid it, they pick up their fearful energy, and then they're taught to be afraid of dogs. So there's all kinds of things that can go into that. And when it's like our left side acting up, it's a sign, okay, we need to nourish ourselves. We need to mother ourselves. We need to rest. We need to retreat. We need to give ourselves something that lights us up or brings us joy. And we're pushing too hard through our boundaries and we're stepping in our masculine side. And that can be like the, like, you know, littlest thing where like you're home, and this is good for anybody. Like you've got, you know, your work day all day and you've got to get chores done and you've got to cook dinner and you've got to do all this stuff. And then you find yourself just pushing, and like maybe it's after dinner and you're like, all right, I got to, you know, clean up the dishes, and then I've got to do this work project and I got to do that thing, you know, to get ready for this tomorrow. And then you push it beyond when your boundary said, no, I'm tired. Then we step into our masculine energy. And it doesn't mean you don't push it sometimes, but it means that there's an imbalance, that we've been pushing it way too much and getting comfortable there and not listening to that feminine side of us. So hopefully that helps and supports you a little bit. And we're sending that side of your body lots of love and energy and green and white light. I'm also going to pull you a few cards, Michelle.
So while she's pulling cards, I kind of want to add to what she said real quick, because like with the masculine and feminine, you have to remember there's also balanced and imbalanced. And so there's energies behind both of those things. And I have found that my masculine energy is not always the best self-serving in the most positive of ways, because it tends to step in because I have had to have situations where I only protected myself instead of having somebody else protect and love me. And so it's kind of like, you know, I stand up and I'm this, you know, protector. I'm my own protector. And so that's kind of how my masculine energy shows up, especially when I'm triggered in my life, when I feel like other people around are not necessarily appreciating me, loving me, helping me, taking care of me. That's when some of those things start to surface again. And that's when I start to see that I'm being in that more masculine, toxic energy. So also I wanted to add that to the mix because it's also important about the energy itself.
It's very relevant. So I pulled you 3 cards, Michelle. First one you got is trust your path. If you knew you would be supported, what would you do? A lot of the reason the left side is showing up and hurting is because you're not, you know, getting that support, that rest, that nourishment, the extra things you need, whether it be money or support from your partner or being heard about something, or, you know, a lot of times it's frustrating with doctors diagnosing us, things like that. It's so important right now to just take a breath and to trust yourself and know that it's all going to be revealed and that you are on the path to your highest good at this time. Then you've got the ever unfolding rose cracked open. It's happening for you, not to you. That lesson again. And I literally have, from this weekend, we worked this amazing event, and I have like the most beautiful flowers that Jennifer Barnes got for us. And these roses do not want to stop opening. And they smell incredible, and they're divine, and it's just like this. And that's what happens. Like your heart breaks open, but it's a portal, it's a womb space, it's an opportunity, and it's a place where you have, you know, an opportunity, like I said, to have grace with yourself and to let yourself just be a raw human and go through your feelings and, you know, see where you can find your strengths, but also, you know, see where you can nourish yourself more or where you might need some support. And then last but not least, know that even though you have these issues going on, you're very protected right now. They are saying you are protected, call back your power, cut the cords, and this is part of your soul retrieval. So it's a little bit, you know, sounds intense, but really it's about trusting those boundaries. It's about not letting your soul get chipped away because you're sacrificing too many other things, and that you have to be the one who calls back your power and says no when you're overdoing it or you're doing too much. And that also you are divinely protected, and that this is, like we always talk about, there's purpose to our pain. It sucks. Nobody ever wants to go through it. I didn't want to have, you know, ankle reconstruction and break my back, but I will say now it was for my highest good in so many ways. And so it's an opportunity to know we're protected, to call back our power, and see how we're going to treat ourselves. So I hope that that helps and supports you on your journey.
I skipped a couple comments because we had already seen them, but we have Jen Bowles who says, I'm glad I tuned in today, and we are glad that you tuned in too.
Aww.
Nice seeing you here. So we have Michelle who said, wow, Crystal, that makes sense saying about the masculine energy. Oh my God, Mandee, I'm definitely a micromanager and I am an adult child of an alcoholic. So, and then she also says it makes me teary-eyed hearing
hearts. And I am too, like, I hold that space too in my own lineage, and many of us healers do. So like, just holding that space for you. We don't talk about it a ton, but you know, and you are a magic light and a generator, and it's important for you too. But we just got to learn how to soften it a little bit.
So TJ says, Crystal and or Mandee, for a long time after, and I saw this earlier and I was like, oh, I can't wait to get to this comment. After my father-in-law passed, I felt his presence. I don't anymore. Is he still with me or has he moved on? So moving on literally to me in the spiritual realm, like how my guides do this is moving on is once we go from like earth realm to spirit realm. Okay. And the only reason I'm saying that is because like he never was like here. He was never like earthbound here on earth. Actually, he's still talking to you. He's still around you. My dear, I'm also going to tell you, he's doing this, which means that when he was here, he was a skeptic. This is not how he would have channeled and or talked. I just want you to know he's like, okay, but here we are showing up. He's kind of funny, okay? He's very quiet. He's not necessarily the most empathic man in the sense of communication skills, but at the same time, he is a wonderful human being. And he's actually kind of making jokes about you because you're just having a hard time seeing. Why are you having a hard time seeing? Right now, you have a lot going on in your life. He's running for me. And when they run for me, that's my symbol for somebody who's doing a whole lot of stuff and doesn't have the time to slow down and kind of smell the roses like Mandee just put out there. And so what he's doing is he's giving you more subtle experiences, more subtle approaches. Why? Because he's asking you to slow down, stop and smell those roses and take in and reflect on what it is that you already have around you instead of focusing so much on what needs to get done to taking that next step to moving forward in that jump that you're trying to do. And so he is here. How is he talking? Now, there's a couple ways. First off, we're talking very minimal. He is making me feel like we got very minimal messages coming through. He is giving me the tugging of one strand of hair behind me, which means to me that he likes to tug your hair when you're driving down the street or when you're in the passenger seat. And you'll do this because you'll think your hair is sticking to the seat. You'll think it's static. You'll think it's all sorts of those fun things. And the rolling of the eyes, like, yeah, okay. I hear you there. Like if he was here, he'd probably think the same thing. But on the opposite end of the spectrum, then why doesn't it do it every time you're in the damn car? And I do want you to know he said damn car. So why wouldn't it do it every single time? You only get it here and there. And so, yes, he's with you. Yes, he loves you. Yes, he's talking to you. But our job here is to slow down and receive. And that's actually one of the like hardest things in the form of this, because spirit speaks in such a cryptic way. I always tell people thoughts, feelings, emotions, ego, imagery, senses. Okay. And so if that's all they have to do to utilize the energy, and you think of it like a stepping system, you know, they can't always come through up here. Sometimes they have to come through down here. And that's when we have to reflect and see a little bit better. But he's around you. He was always crossed over. He was always on the other side. He was always in the better place over here. Okay. It might have been a little touch and go for him in the middle, like in the beginning. He's doing this. Like, I didn't really feel like it was time for me. I don't feel like he wanted to go quite yet, making me feel like I was a little stubborn about the matter. But at the end of the day, he was always on the other side. So just know that it is him. He's talking to you, but he's giving you more subtle clues as to how he's here, because he's asking you to stop, slow down, and actually be present in the moment when seeing your angel sequence numbers, when hearing certain things like off in the distance and like thinking you're hearing somebody talking and just like, oh, it's my imagination. Is it though? Is it? That's kind of the question. Okay. I'm going back through comments because we're running out of time here. So we've got a couple people leave.
Oh, I see someone. Jill said, someone asked what book was it, and then Jennifer answered Louise Hay, How to Heal Your Life, which we showed her. And then Jill made a comment that said, "Hello, ladies. Do you have any books to recommend for those of us who have had a child/children pass away? Do you have any books that you like for that?" And I do too.
If you have, go ahead and tell whatever your book is, and actually I can add that into our description. Um, I don't generally have books. I usually tell people to go to the Forever Family Foundation. It's a website. It is people who have a plethora of information and tools to use um, for anybody who's crossed over or passed away. They have so many different types of things that they can direct you in, but it's an amazing, I really love these people because they're trying to help understand, like bring together like the utilization of the scientific approach versus also the spiritual approach, and show how they work together to help people understand that there is a connection after death. um, so they work with mediums, they work without mediums, they work with scientists, they work with everybody, and so there's a million different resources that you can get by looking at their website.
And we're sending you loads of love. It's not fun to be in that club. And we also, as we were talking about earlier, we just trust everyone's journey so much. And we thank you for being here and holding space with us and asking that question. I also really like this book. It's called Life After Death by The Burden of Proof by Deepak Chopra. And I've learned a lot of really cool things in here that have supported me in my own grief journeys. And you might be able to find something that supports you there too. So thanks for holding the space and being here, Jill.
Okay, so we only have a couple more minutes, and so we did
Yes.
have somebody asking to pull a card for Jennifer for Jen Bowles, and I do believe they're related. So they're both on there. It's TJ and Jen talking together. So they said, "Can you pull a card for Jen Bowles?"
Sure.
And then we also had Monica ask a question, which I don't necessarily feel like this is a card pulling question, so I'm just going to answer it while you're getting the energy ready for Jen. And also, it was their grandpa apparently that I just talked about. So that was all of it. It was all their grandpa. So she says, any thoughts on why we can feel like we're missing something, like wasting time in life? That's your soul. That's not your human. That means that you have like soul contracts that you knew you came here to do. But we also have to remember that just because we have a soul contract doesn't mean we have to take care of them all in one life. Okay. So sometimes we get a little bit anxious inside of ourselves and feel like we're like, I don't know, a bug crawling out of our skin suit, and we're like, and everything feels crazy. So we're like, now. In those moments, take yourself back, really ground yourself, really try to reflect on what it is that you want that next step to be, but also remember and give yourself love and patience the same way you give to everybody else, because you cannot complete your soul's journey in this lifetime alone. Also, I would maybe go on and Google the spiritual symptoms of ascension, because I feel like you are going through a multitude of different ascension symptoms, because my guides are making me feel like there's like a lot of things happening. You've got the weird headaches, like the spinning in your head, the weird dizziness, the ears, the ringing. You've got a lot of things in the growth department that are currently taking place for your life. So they're just making me feel like you are essentially getting to that higher realm of understanding within yourself. And they're also giving you a round of applause, because dang it, you did it. And I think you need to give yourself credit, because I feel like you're still forcing and moving and doing stuff. Take a minute.
And it's
I'm going to get up here.
I just want to add a tiny bit to that. I was talking to a client this morning about this. But one of my favorite affirmations from Louise Hay is, that which I need to know will be revealed. And it has given me so much permission to trust more and to trust that I'm not missing anything. And then the other one is A Course in Miracles, the Lightworker's Prayer. It says, I'm here to be truly helpful. I'm here to represent that which sent me. I do not have to think about what to do or say, because that which sent me will direct me. I'm happy to be wherever they wish, knowing that they always go with me. I will be healed as I allow the healing to happen through me. And it helps bring you back into the present moment and remember that we are all just here learning and growing with each and every experience and constantly expanding. So hopefully that supports you. And then I saw that TJ said Jen is her daughter, which is awesome. And I pulled you 3 cards. So can I hop into that, Crystal?
Absolutely.
Awesome. So your first card, this is from the Kyle Gray Angels and Ancestors deck, is the White Witch. Be the light at this time. It's not always easy to be the light. It's not always easy to make the choices that, are sometimes unpopular with yourself, even like taking care of ourselves and getting on the yoga mat and things like that. But it's so important that you continue to be the light, because you always have been. You're a bright light, even on your worst days. When you walk into a room, people are happy you're there. And And there's a little bit, actually, your next card is She-Wolf, Unleash the Wild Woman Within. There is sometimes a little bit of being too nice and not letting yourself, let loose a little bit, or get out and really get primal with yourself and who you are. And I do see a lot of earth around you and nature and art and really cool things. And it's important to take time to explore that and to really let yourself release. And if you're holding it in all day or not able to speak your truth, maybe scream into a pillow at night or go outside and throw some rocks and let it out sometimes and honor, what's coming up in you. And then last but not least, you got the drum to dream and journey, Jen, because you're manifesting wonderful things. And it's important you actually take time. They're showing you daydreaming, just spacing out a little bit and seeing things and new stuff coming into fruition. And it's so important that you hold that space for yourself and let yourself dream. Maybe journal about it or set some intentional time if you've been too busy for it, and make sure you give it space, because you're really starting to manifest wonderful things in your life. So be the light. Don't always be too nice. Let your shit out when you need to. And you're manifesting. You're in really great space right now to concentrate on what you want. Maybe even make a little vision board or something.
Monica says, thank you. And we have Jennifer who said, lunch ladies, LOL, you killed it. You both are glowing and on fire. I love them. Everybody's so sweet. Keep up the amazing work. Love you guys. Have a wonderful day. You too. Every single one of you. Mandee, how do people get a hold of you? What's going on? What's going on in Goddess Land, and how do people get a hold of you?
Yes, this week we've had so many awesome things going on in Goddess Land, but coming up, we've got a farmer's market a week from tomorrow at the Atlantic City Lighthouse, and we're really looking forward to that. We're also working a private cannabis event, but if you're interested in that, reach out to me. It's in the South Jersey area, and I'll get you some more details on that. And let's see. Then we have lots of other things coming up, but let's just start with the farmer's market and those two things, and then next episode I'll give you more and more information. But please subscribe, follow us. We are on Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram as Sea Goddess Healing Arts, and we have a great website, seagoddesshealingarts.com, which features all of our amazing healing artists, and we're going to be revealing all of our new ones come our next Soul broadcast, which is our amazing blog that we put out once a month. So please subscribe to our email, because all of the healing artists contribute to it, and you learn so much stuff. It's like a little mini book each month. It's amazing. And so subscribe to that, please. And if you made it this long and you'd like a session with me, I have a code on the website. It's Mandee Live, and it's for 50% off any of my services. So if you're interested in holding some space with me, check out seagoddesshealingarts.com. Find my Mandee page. If you scroll down, you'll see book with Mandee. You'll see all my services. For all of them, if you type in Mandee Live, you'll get 50% off. And if a time doesn't work for you on there, just email me and we'll find some time to hold space, because we all have different schedules. Crystal, how do people get a hold of you?
Well, first off, I was going to go back and say, if you go to their website, all of their stuff is posted on there. And also they have most of their stuff on their Facebook page as well. I do believe you have one brochure or one thing on there that has all the different events that are on it. So if you want to know it and are in the New Jersey area, check that out, because they have them all posted. And I'm like, okay, so I moved here and it's poof, over here. So now I'm going to have to get a private jet and go back and forth.
I'm manifesting you coming to visit in September, but we'll see.
So Jen says, before I close out, Jen says, thank you, ladies. Thank you, Earth Angels. Love my lunchtime vibes. Monica, super also, Monica, I want to add in a big hug, because I feel like you have people on the other side right now that are embracing you. I do feel like you're going on a little bit of a roller coaster ride, which I do think has a whole lot to do with what we talked about earlier in the show, and a lot of cutting cords, letting things go, allowing yourself to grow. So please just know, through the crazy, you're going to get through it. It'll be better afterwards. And please just know that everybody really on your team on the other side really love you and appreciate you for the hard work. It's not been easy for you either. Okay. TJ says, Thanks. Have a great day. All of the other things. You can get a hold of me by going to my website, midmittenmedium.com. You can find me on Facebook under Spirit Speaks with Mitten Medium, and also here. Once again, give all the likes, the subscribes, because it really helps. Specifically interacting with our stuff, that actually helps. So if you could do that, it would be great. Other than that, I hope you guys have a great, wonderful, amazing day and week. I think it'll be a good week.
Thanks, Crystal. It's going to be a great
Bye,
week.
guys.
Bye.